Do you dream of fairies and princesses? Then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and welcome to the House of Mouse headlines for the week of December 13th, 2020, brought to you by laughingplace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. In this week's news, we have a ton of announcements from Disney's Investor Day, including sequels to some of your favorite films, new series featuring Disney princesses, Pixar's real Buzz Lightyear, and more. So let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
Before we get to all of the Investor Day news, there are some important updates at the Disneyland Resort due to recent stay-at-home orders in Southern California. First, the planned reopening of the Disney Vacation Club villas at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and Spa has been postponed. Additionally, Disney-owned food and beverage locations have temporarily closed, including popcorn carts, the Carthay Circle Lounge, and other venues. Meanwhile, some operating participant locations will remain open to offer carry-out options, although all carry-out must be enjoyed off Disneyland property. Capacity will also be reduced at all retail locations, but will remain open at this time. These changes took effect on December 7th and will remain until restrictions are lifted. As I mentioned at the top of the show, this week the Walt Disney Company held its latest Investor Day event, where they went on to announce dozens of new projects across their various brands. This includes some long-rumored and highly anticipated sequels being officially announced as Disney Plus exclusives. First up, Amy Adams will reprise her role as Giselle when the Enchanted follow-up Disenchanted stops being a fantasy and steps into reality. Additionally, Whoopi Goldberg will return to star in and produce Sister Act 3, with Tyler Perry also set to produce. Finally, at long last, Hocus Pocus 2 was announced for Disney+. However, in this case, there was no mention of what cast would be involved, but Adam Shankman will take the helm. No release dates for any of these sequels were revealed, but we can hopefully expect them in the coming years. Beyond those notable cinematic sequels, a number of other spin-offs, remakes, and reboots were announced for Disney Plus as well. These included new animated films for both Night at the Museum and Diary of a Wimpy Kid coming in 2021, as well as an Ice Age spin-off film about Buck Wild voiced by Simon Pegg arriving in early 2022, and a reimagined multiracial version of Cheaper by the Dozen starring Gabrielle Union also slated for 2022. Elsewhere, a Chippendale Rescue Rangers live-action animated hybrid film starring Andy Samberg and John Mulaney will arrive on the platform in spring 2022, while previously announced films Peter Pan and Wendy and Pinocchio will now be Disney Plus exclusives. Among the more surprising announcements to come out of the presentation was the revelation that Walt Disney Animation Studios would be producing a number of original shows, including spin-offs of some of their classic films. First, two Disney princesses will be getting their own comedic programs when Tiana and Moana the series each arrive on Disney Plus in 2023. Fans of Big Hero 6 can also look forward to the show Baymax coming in early 2022, featuring the adorable healthcare robot as he finds new patients to help. Disney Animation will also be producing a short-form series titled Zootopia Plus that will take a closer look at some of the film's most intriguing characters. I have a feeling we'll be seeing more of those sloths. Zootopia Plus is currently expected to debut in spring 2022. Just as Disney Animation is revisiting some of its properties to tell new stories, so is Pixar. During the presentation, they unveiled an upcoming series of shorts starring Doug from Up, titled Doug Days, which will premiere in fall of 2021. In the meantime, viewers can look forward to Pixar Popcorn, a collection of mini shorts featuring Pixar characters in all new bite-sized stories, which will debut next month. Then in fall 2022, Cars will rev up once again as Lightning McQueen and his best friend Mater head off on a cross-country road trip in a new series. But if you're looking for something completely new, Win or Lose, Pixar's first ever original long-form animated series, will arrive on Disney Plus in 2023. Speaking of Pixar, the studio also gave some updates on its theatrical slate. First, they provided a new look at their film Luca, which is slated to hit theaters June 18, 2021, although the footage was not released publicly. After that, on March 11, 2022, a new film titled Turning Red from the director of the short Bao will be released in theaters. The movie follows 13-year-old Mei Li, who happens to turn into a giant red panda whenever she gets a little too excited. Finally coming to theaters on June 17, 2022 is Lightyear. But lest you think this is another Toy Story film, it will actually be a sci-fi action-adventure about the hero who inspired the toy, with Chris Evans voicing Buzz. While we're looking at theatrical releases, it was announced that the next Star Wars film to be released would be from Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins. Rogue Squadron will follow a new generation of starfighter pilots as they earn their wings and risk their lives. This latest expansion of the Star Wars universe will arrive in time for Christmas 2023. Additionally, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy also noted the previously announced Star Wars feature from Taika Waititi, but didn't make mention of the planned Rian Johnson trilogy. In other Star Wars news, a ton of content from a galaxy far, far away is headed to Disney+. Among the projects revealed are 2 Mandalorian spin-offs, Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka. Also announced was a series titled Lando, although there was no mention about who would be playing Mr. Calrissian this time around. Other new series announced included a mystery thriller set in the final days of the High Republic era called The Acolyte, and an animated short film series shown through the lens of the world's best anime creators titled Star Wars Visions. Additionally, Lucasfilm Animation is developing a Star Wars adventure film for Disney+. A droid story will introduce a new hero, and they're guided by beloved favorites R2-D2 and C-3PO. Capping off the Star Wars excitement, it was confirmed that Hayden Christensen will return as Darth Vader in the upcoming series Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's still no release date for that project, but it is expected to start shooting next year. I know the feelings about Christensen are mixed, but I've got to say that I'm very excited for it. Elsewhere in the world of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy also provided a bit of an update on the next Indiana Jones installment. The 5th film will be directed by James Mangold and of course star Harrison Ford, who they note will be back to continue his iconic character's journey. Indy will be shooting next year and arrive in July 2022. I still think it's a bit sad that Steven Spielberg decided to leave the project and that this will be the first Indy film not directed by him. Heading back to Disney Animation, while the studio's next film, Raya and the Last Dragon, will still be coming to theaters, it will also come to Disney Plus as the latest trial of the server's Premier Access feature. Raya will hit theaters and be available for an additional fee to Disney Plus subscribers on March 5th, 2021. Like the live-action Mulan, the Premier Access cost will be $29.99 on top of your Disney Plus subscription. At this time, this is the only theatrical film with a planned Premier Access bow, but of course that can always change. Following Raya and the Last Dragon, Walt Disney Animation Studios has now confirmed that their next movie will be Encanto. According to the official logline, the film tells the tale of an extraordinary family, the Madrigals, who live hidden in the mountains of Colombia, in a magical house, in a vibrant town, in a wondrous, charmed place called Encanto. The movie will be helmed by Byron Howard and Jared Bush, and feature songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Encanto opens in theaters November 24th, 2021. Another Disney Plus animated project I wanted to highlight is Owaju. This series, set to arrive in 2022, is the result of a collaboration between Walt Disney Animation Studios and Pan-African comic book entertainment company Kugali. Owaju roughly translates to the future, and in turn, the project is said to be steeped in science fiction. As director Ziki Nelson explains, this show will combine Disney's magic and animation expertise with Kugali's fire and storytelling authenticity. Owaju represents a personal childhood dream of mine to tell my story and that of my people. Finally, some of the other projects Disney confirmed to be developing for Disney Plus include a Beauty and the Beast prequel series with Josh Gad and Luke Evans, Percy Jackson and the Olympians based on the hit book series, and a modern reimagining of Swiss Family Robinson created by Ron Moore and John Chu. Plus, it was revealed that Mighty Ducks Game Changers, starring Emilio Estevez, joined by Gilmore Girl Lauren Graham, is set to debut in 2021. I must say, it's a bit disconcerting that the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids Lego sequel, Shrunk, wasn't mentioned at all. Even with all of this news, there is still plenty more I didn't cover, including all of the stuff Marvel has up its sleeve. So for everything about that, National Geographic, ESPN, Hulu, and more, be sure to check out laughingplays.com for a rundown of it all. Now that's going to do it for the news this week, so let's get to this week's Twitter poll where I asked you folks, what's your favorite part of the holidays at the Disney parks? Your options were the decorations, the specialty food, the holiday ride overlays, or the characters and the holiday costumes. Tied for last place were the ride overlays and the characters and costumes, each receiving 11% of the votes, followed by the specialty food with 29% of the votes, and the winner clearly is the holiday decorations getting 49% of the votes. Do you agree with these results? Cast your vote in the Twitter poll every week by following Dizney CTC on Twitter. That's DIZNEY CTC on Twitter. And folks, if you haven't been listening to the last several episodes of Disney Coast to Coast, you've been missing out on some holiday goodness, and the holiday cheer continues this upcoming Wednesday. The easiest way to make sure you don't miss any of the magic is by subscribing to Disney Coast to Coast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Wherever you search, don't forget it's Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast. Also, don't forget to head to DisneyCoastToCoast.com or click on the link in this episode's description to order your DCTC 2021 wall or desk calendar to support this show and the Disney cast member pantry, with part of the profits going to that great charity. And if you'd like to take part in this year's last live stream Q&A taking place this upcoming Thursday, December 17th, head to patreon.com/DisneyCTC. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. This podcast is part of the DePodcast Network. Learn more about this show, plus find more quality and entertaining podcasts at DePodcastNetwork.com. That's DEPodcastNetwork.com.